Hey guys, welcome to Everlasting Summer, Pioneer Story, the DLC story mode. It just started out like this, so I have no time for introduction really. If there's any more future DLC games for this or sequels, if I find out about them, I'll be more than glad to do it. But for now, we got some heavy breathing going on. I don't know if I can click or skip. I don't know what's going on. But apparently, this is supposed to explain the events of the other Semyons that you run into the first playthrough of the game, which you guys did not see in my playthrough because I've already played through the game a few times. I was just going for a specific ending in my videos. My world is empty as I am. I destroyed myself to become a whole world, a world of emptiness that destroyed me. I had believed I had someone's fate in my hands, the power to end the lives of others, but I was only wandering in the darkness, vainly hiding from any new beam of light, every one of which was only spawning empty shadows. Every shadow was my faceless reflection, a cloud of absolute darkness with the single goal to consume me. I was hiding from them, merging with them. They were becoming me, and I was becoming them. And it finally didn't matter which one of us is on that side of the mirror. Although, in this case, it's not just a cliched phrase or the reflection of a crude loser. It is a fact, even though this wasn't the case before. Even though before the worlds were many and my life could be called a life. Because it all ended in a single moment. First was the stand bus, again, everywhere, and a crowd of these joyfully whooping pioneers around me, the same as me, and then again and again, like a vivid kaleidoscope of faces, events, emotions, and feelings. But who the hell cares anymore? You know, if a man died, he will regret what didn't have time for, what he didn't do, what he didn't say, rather than exactly how his life journey ended. But am I in one of those places where the souls go after death? And everything could have been different too. It doesn't matter that the end is always one and the same if the road to it can vary. It depends on my choice. It did before. So when did everything change? The different versions of events, the lines of life, the people's fate seemed to intertwine several times over, resulting in something like a rope of doom which you can only hang yourself on. So when did it all change? Surely not in a single day, a single hour, but certainly so fast I didn't have the time to notice. The rays of the summer sun shine into my eyes. A summer one, well, who would have thought, what a surprise. But it was winter yesterday, or was it yesterday? I know there's a pack of cigarettes in a matchbox tucked away under the driver's glove box. My head spun from the deep breaths I inhaled, and a nasty smell of menthol I flooded my brain with a chill. Cosmos for export. They could have damn well made stuff for export then, unlike now. Nuclear reactors, rifles, cigarettes, and communism. Lots of communism in boxes, crates, containers, in the cargoes, holds of the ships, in the freight section of planes, and good wagons of trains, even in the spaceships. Even more communism through the pyramids of Africa, whatever the word is, and kings of South America, Papans of New I don't know what that word is. Guinea, I don't know. And I guess we can drop the package for the penguins in Antarctica too. Fuck, I'm raving. Finishing a third cigarette, I stared at the gates and started to wait. I don't even need a clock. There's an unfailing internal chronometer working in my head. Now just a little bit longer. One of those doors squeaked disgustingly and opened up a bit. Behind it peeked out a girl in a pioneer uniform who looked around and noticed me. Walking closer, she sniffed the heavy, hot air and seemed to be a bit surprised, but immediately smiled and spoke. Hi, you must be the new... Go... fuck yourself. I shouted, got up, and went to the kid, ignoring her. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, okay. It was hilarious once, then it was fun. Now it's just a habit. A foolish but obsessive habit like putting different things in different pockets. I, for example, can't carry a phone in my right pocket because, hell, if I know why. And this is the same deal. Insulting a girl in the morning is a good to start to the day. I met another partner girl on the way. To be more precise, she tried to hit me in the back, but I jumped away in time and glared at her in a way that seemed to make the poor girl suddenly come up with more urgent things to do. The camp leader's hut was drowning in a storm of lilacs. Can it just drown already, damn it? The loud seventh door is distracted the occupant from reading some book. No, I really never wondered what the camp leader reads. Without undressing, I hopped into bed and threw my feet in their winter boots up on the backboard. What do you think you're doing? And for that matter, who are you? The camp leader asked, genuinely resentful. Shut your mouth, woman, I said lazily. She was petrified, unable to say a word. It's always like this, every damn time. But yet, tell me, why haven't you not found yourself a man? How old are you? 25? Late 20s? You should understand the way the world works at this age. For a moment, heavy silence hung in the room. You don't know? I'll tell you then. Who the hell would want someone like you? The camp leader's house resounded with a loud laugh, or even something more like a hoarse neigh, while a familiar melody ran outside. A couple of times I tried to find out where the supper music was coming from, so instead of the speakers, would play something more or less cheery throughout the camp. I didn't, though. It looks like the angelic singing needs neither a player nor wires or electricity. To hell with it then. For example, right now, I wouldn't be against the whole camp hearing me laugh. Okay, guys, before I continue, since I didn't show it in my Let's Play of this game because, like I said, it only happens for whenever you go through Simeon's good and bad end. Throughout your first time playing, you'll run into other characters who will resemble you. And basically they'll explain how they've been trapped in this camp and they can't escape. And they're basically Simeon. And, yeah. So basically this is explaining the events of how the other Simeons are there that you're Simeon you're playing through as, interacted with, and why and how they're there, and why they're still there and stuff. So I just wanted to explain that because since I was going through Yolana's ending, I didn't get to show you guys any of that unless I wanted to delete my data and restart, but I didn't want to. For example, oh wait, I already read that one, didn't I? I don't know. For example, right now, I wouldn't be against the whole camp hearing me laugh. But at whom? Not myself, no. I'm just laughing because laughter is a wonderful defense mechanism and a way to allay the boredom. How much does a minute of laughter give you? 5 minutes of life? Well, it's no use to me. I'm a de facto immortal. I just need a natural certification. How dare you talk to your elder? How dare you talk this way to your elder? Oh yeah, dear. Change the track already, will you? Honestly, I'm sick of listening to the same thing time and time again. Let's try it this way. Hello, how you doing? See, it's not that difficult. Okay, your turn now. What? Now what? It's hello, how are you doing? And I'll reply, thanks, bad as always. And maybe I'll even add, thanks to your prayers. Get out of here, I'll call the police. How? With the Pigeon Express? The phone isn't working. Yeah, but the camp leader faltered. Although I reached in my pocket, left one, took out my mobile phone, threw it to her. Here, try it. The camp leader caught the phone. It jumped several times in her hands and almost fell to the floor. What is this? A phone. I gave a short answer and closed my eyes. That thing, ting-a-ling-a-ling, the cell phone began to ring. Are you sick in the head? The camp leader seemed to have finally started to come to her senses. What about you? I don't know what's happening here. Have you seen the film Groundhog Day? You haven't. Well, anyway, that library of yours has some books on psychiatry or whatever. I would have been able to answer the question about my psychiatric condition with more certainty. That's why for now I'm only ready to tell you as an amateur. Yes, oh yeah, dear, I'm sick. And then again the devilish laugh. The camp leader was stunned and released the phone from her hand. It fell from the edge of the bed and bounced towards me. I picked up the cell at once and put it in my pocket. But not in love with you, I added, opening one eye. Someone surely knocked on the door. Then it opened and a pioneer girl appeared at the doorstep. Oh, god damn it. I directly jumped off the bed. And where's the chopper? Forgotten at home? The girl looked at me, at the camp leader in confusion. She started inside and sank heavily into the opposite bed. Actually, I already knew that the camp leader isn't afraid of me. The fear is simply not included in our program. She can be resentful, yeah, as much as you want. Imitate, fright, most assuredly. But a couple of minutes will pass and she'll withdraw, leaving me be. The camp leader, my foot. If I were in her shoes, this must be a bad time. The girl shyly prattled, casting her eyes down and preparing to leave. Why don't be shy? I exclaimed. Hospital, whatever. Gesturing to a place near me. Sit down now, make yourself at home. No, sit down, I said. I barked. Now let's go to certainly display a genuine fright, fear, and even terror. She slowly approached to sit on my bed, cleaning on the backboard. So got anything nice to tell me? Wow. What? Wow. I, the same as any other kid, was taught by my parents since childhood that I should have opened the door to strangers, and also that I would be better off not going who knows where when called by who knows who. But that was in childhood, and now literally everything depends on whether or not I trust a stranger. It seems like a whole life has gone by already, and I had time to get old mentally, if not physically, and I forgot what winter is. Snow, cold, the evening darkness, a wind that chills to the bone, and eternally muddy slush. Same goes for the city. Now stopping for a minute. Always running somewhere and fumigating the dirty sky, and people with this lines of rotten chimneys and car exhaust. It stayed in the distant past like faded pages of an old photo album that has been thrown into a storeroom as unnecessary. Hey, the voice of the girl sitting nearby distracted me from these thoughts. You hung up again? Still thinking about that? About what? She meant no offense, and I asked again just for the sake of it. I already knew the answer. You know. You were sitting on the library's roof, legs dangling over the edge. Senya leaned back a bit, her hair beautiful fluttering in the wind. The bright sun was shining into her eyes, making us squint, but it wasn't blinding, more like velvety warm, and seemed to envelope your whole body in the pleasant heat of a sunny day. No, I don't know, I guess. I can't always say what I'm thinking about, just a mush of thoughts in my head. I fell silent for a moment and looked at Xenia. She looked like she was uninterested not only in our conversation, but in everything happening around her in general. As if this girl was okay, the summer, the sun, the pleasant wind, our youth. As if this is enough for her to be happy, the rest of our just foolish trivialities. In short, you get what I'm saying. Why do you even ask? Because a human is a social creature. It's supposed to communicate with others like it. She grinned almost unnoticeably. Yeah, right. Look who's talking. Wait here. I'll go get the award for the most communicative pioneer of the year. 1980 whatever. What about me? Unlike some people, I have quite specific responsibilities in this camp. I'm a respected member of our collective, irreplaceable, even in a sense, in contrast to you. Zenya's eyes sparked as she grinned mockingly. Responsibilities, yeah, sure. I covered my eyes with the palm and leaned back. Seriously, can you hear yourself? Responsibilities, collective. Hey, Xenia said sternly and poked my belly. Oh, I moaned, mostly theatrically, and the cat raptor glanced in our direction. What if I fell down? Hurt myself, huh? That would be highly regrettable. There isn't even any place to get life insurance here. Yeah, and there would be no one to pay the reimbursement to afterwards. Well, no one is. I rubbed the back of my head, smiled dumbly, and said, What about you? Me? Xenia thought for a second. Well, maybe, though, I didn't think the canteen accepts dollars, euro, credit cards, or at very least Russian rubles. And there's probably no currency exchange here either. And even if there was, who knows how the exchange rate is doing. I don't want to suffer from the inflation, you know. Demand they pay you in gold. Gold my ass. She threw herself on me, trying to either tickle me, squeeze me, beat me down, or all of the above. You know, I wonder if this Semyon did something to Xenia, and that's why she hates him so much in the real story. Huh. And I can't tell if this is going on during the regular story mode, or if it's going on before we actually arrive here for the real-time escape. I don't know. Guess we'll find out the more we go along. Leaving the camp leader's house, I was chuckling. I probably shouldn't have expected anything from the conversation with this pioneer girl. And I didn't. Why would I? It's all been known for a long time now. I'm able to play this piece on my own, like a miserable one-man show. Or is it possible at the end of the regular game, we end up coming back here? We end up getting thrown back here again the next day or something like that. No, because in the story, in the Yolanda ending, I spent like 4 or 5 years in college or whatever, so maybe not. I don't know. This is confusing. What an irony. I play with one actor, in a theater with one spectator, in a city with one citizen, in a universe with one living being. We're living in quotation marks, or maybe living in italics. What kind of obituary would you prefer? With scroll work or without? With capitals or without? What font would you like? Should the paper be glossy or matte? I don't know. Fog again. Down the road with a skipping jolly little girl. Maybe I should start with her this time around. I remember there being splendid meat hooks in the canteen. Or shouldn't I? Who are you? She blurted out, coming up to me. I am the terror that flaps in the night. Boo. I demonstratively spread my arms and loomed over her. That's not scary at all. Not scary? Well, it'll do for now. I grinned and went forward. Hey. Her shout followed me. Wait. The girl caught up to me and grabbed my hand. Don't touch me. I cried with disgust and forcefully jerked my hand so the pioneer flew off the rails and fell into the bushes. Ouch, that hurt. She started to cry. Strange. No, this is really strange. I don't think something like this has ever happened before. Of course, this day has repeated itself so many times that it's impossible to count. And the point is, really not the girl flying to the bushes, is that there shouldn't be anything new. And even such insignificant as one might think, occurrence may in the end turn out to be more important than all the previous times, than the first time. I don't know why, I just feel that it's simply been too long since anything new happened. Of course, this world is comparable to a monotone mechanism that does its work soullessly, but all the variations of the script are familiar to me. And when I say I mean all. A couple of minutes ago, the camp leader's house could have come not that shy pioneer, but the girl who met me at the camp gates, and I would be ready. Or that arrogant pioneer girl that greets strangers with a thump on the back, and I would be ready. Or even this little crybaby, and I would still be ready. But now, at this very moment, something is happening that I am not ready for, and above all, I'm not ready for surprises. This girl continued to cry and looking at me, its eyes full of anger and resentment. You, it's all your fault. Come on, what are you crying for? I walked up to her hesitantly and reached out my hand. For a second, the girl made a puzzled face and grabbed me, and got to her feet with a jerk. You felt ashamed, didn't you? That's the point. You can't bully the little ones. Ashamed? I repeated my thought far from here. Why? Because of you? Why would I be? But you should be. She frowned and ran towards the camp leader's house. To complain, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. For the first time in a long time, something like this has happened. Just a couple of minutes ago, I could say with certainty that each of the pioneers is occupied with at this particular moment. Now, fuck. At dinner, the camp leader approached me. That turned out awkward. She began as she gathered her thoughts. Your parents called me but you could behave more properly, at least introduce yourself for a start. She said as her expression changed. But that's nothing. We will make a model pioneer of you. Before I would have told her in detail about both the pioneers and modeling, but right now I had no desire to talk, neither with her nor with anyone else. Alright then, for a start, you should meet your comrades. The camp leader waved her hand, inviting someone to the table, and 2 girls approached us. Well, enjoy your meal. I have more things to do, she said uncertainly, and left the pioneers alone with me. Hi, you're new, right? Do you like music? Join our music club. It's only me there right now, but with you there'll be 2 of us. It'll be fun, don't you think? I didn't look at her and continued to eat intently. Leave him alone. Don't you see he's kind of lame-brained? If the first 2 girls were just a bit dumb, the second one I would compare to that grumpy cat from the internet. How about I never actually done this before? It just never crossed my mind. Well, if I don't know the future events now, then why not give it a try? I suddenly got up and took my compote glass and poured it on the second pioneer's head. Bon appetit! I summed up this act of vandalism, with a stony voice and headed up to the exit of the canteen. The girl cried, squealed, wheezed, and even moaned somewhat hoarsely, but didn't try to stop me. Right now I most wanted to be in some other place, to look at the world from the outside, to observe the suffering of others from the height of my experience. But starting today, those places are no more. At the doors, I bumped into the first girl who I met at the gate. Tried to go around her, but received a beating slap in the face. The girl immediately ran through the canteen, its echoing bouncing off the ceiling. In the space of the moment, complete false silence fell. In less than a second, my hand clenched into a fist. Nails digging into the palm, the skin on my knuckles stretching out almost to the point of rupturing. Oh, to knock this bitch out. Maybe I was late by a fraction of a second between us, as if out of the ground, sprang a little pioneer that I threw into the bushes, who spread her hands sideways, protecting her friend with her small body, and it was the end of that. I unclenched my fist, my willpower gone, lowered my head, squeezed past them, and left the canteen. Did they really turn out to be stronger than me? Why did something like this even happen? Before I would have. Well, I even would. Nothing stopped me so many times. Hitting a girl was nothing. I've done worse things. Looks like this world has changed without informing me. The rings of cigarette smoke were slowly drifting towards Ginda. The pack was almost empty already, and there was nowhere else to get smokes here. I'll have to wait another week. Obviously, I could go to the Autistic Brothers, take the bottle of vodka, and get drunk. But we'll change that. Whatever. The decision's so complicated now and so simple then. Fuck, did I really start to think like that damn loser already? No, never. Got any more? Yeah, and now the pioneer girl took a set near me. What? I asked uncomprehending. I don't know that word. She pointed to the cigarette. Smoking is bad for your health. Look who's talking, she grinned. Mine's made of rubber. Wanna try? No need. I'll take it on trust. I handed a cigarette to her and gave her a light. You did something cool today, well, she said after the coffin stopped. And the camp leader in her hut. I heard, and at supper, at least I'm not the camp's biggest disgrace now. I looked at her carefully. The pioneer was smoking a cigarette casually and smiling so complacently as if the whole world had already acknowledged her rightness. And you, I see, are the only thinking of yourself. What will you talk about? I know. Her expression changed, and she even panicked a little and choked on the smoke. But you're right. You were never the worst one here. I'm not so sure about myself, though. You're talking so, well, coolly. Now, praise from her was certainly all I needed. Or maybe. Listen. I started smiling on one of my studied smiles. While we're at it, do you want to meet for a drink, so to say? You got any? The pioneer's eyes flashed. I can always find some for a good comrade. Although it all started like in a bad novel that's printed by Chapter and Gutter's newspaper, it turned out completely different. The memories blended together in a continuous haze of an orange-red tone like a yellow brick road leading to the Emerald City. Though Dorothy grew up a bit and earned a living by prostitution because instead of studying diligently, she was all caught up in dreams of a magical land. The cowardly lion got hooked on meth and was shot in a firefight with the police. Now the Tin Man had a pretty good life. He's become a hitman. A Scarecrow didn't change at all. He got himself a stable, low-paying job in an office with convenient working hours from 9 to 6 and an absence of career opportunities. There probably wasn't any magical city ahead in the first place. Endless road with no destination or meaning. You know, at that time, he was really talking about something like this. Tried to warn me, at least. I wasn't listening, and as a result ended up as the only one to get stuck in this damn Mobius strip. She was sitting nearby, squinting with discontent. Hey, hello, Earth is calling. Okay, what's wrong? Like, I can't take a moment to think already? Thoughts should lead to a result, and what have you got? Well, what have I got? A lack of results. A lack of result is still a result. Senior painfully pitched on the shoulder and moved a meter away. Okay. And then she appeared. No Zinnia. Zinnias have always been in Sylvanok. But at that time I saw Zinnia for the first time. Maybe I don't remember what happened before and what came after that well, but those several days will forever remain in my memory. I have already realized clearly that this is not my frozen world. Understood that an eternity later I had again, as I once before managed to fall into another. Managed accidentally, as if for a second the two orbits of two planets crossed, and I only had a moment. If I were a second late, they'd fly away from each other forever, getting farther and farther apart with stupendous speed. The world is as lonely and empty as the previous one, but the main thing that is different. There were things here unfamiliar to me. Oh, this is really important. It's so important for me. For example, Xenia sitting not in the library, but on the canteen's porch. After all that's happened, I was just not capable of sarcasm. Hi, I said as I came closer, but still stopping at a safe distance. Xenia raised her eyes to me. Her face showed that she didn't expect to meet someone here. Hi. Her voice didn't sound like usual. Not that I would have mistaken libraries into nothing for anything else. Is how to get supper early? No, I don't know. When's supper again? She pattered. What do you mean, when's supper? Her answer left me in a stupor, and I broke into a smile. There was chill ran through my whole body. I know. Say, of course. I know when supper is. It's just, well... Senior got completely confused and stood at her feet. It seemed like the thing she wanted right now was to be here, but she didn't have enough resolve to leave. It was strange, but it didn't scare me at all. On the contrary, I was happy because something new beyond the scope of the pattern has happened. Are you alright? I asked the stupidest question possible in this situation. What did I even expect to hear in return? Yes, thank you. For what? I don't know. Well, for being worried. Well, a faint tinge of discontent appeared on her face, but appeared immediately, and Xenia slowly got up. I got to go. Wait, but aren't you on your way to the canteen? I'll come later. I got other things to do. Okay. I didn't stop her, but decided to follow. God knows how long it's been since anything like that had happened to me. Only on my first few times here, maybe. Xenia came to the square and quickly went to the direction of the library. She never turned around on the way, so I didn't even have to hide much. When the door shut behind her, I froze in hesitation. So what's next? Should I not go in? But what will I tell her? One wouldn't need to be a detective to realize that I've been following her. I was brought on my thoughts by Electronic, who appeared before me as if out of nowhere. What came with the checklist? Just had to visit the library. Got it. I won't distract you then, he said, and prepared to leave already. Wait, don't you think that lately Xenia had been, well, behaving strangely, I guess? Electronic looked at me carefully, appraisingly even. Did something happen? No, nothing. It looked as if I was making excuses, and a feeling of personal pettiness enveloped me. But why should I make excuses to him? I'm just asking. What, I can't even ask already? No, of course you can, he said nervously. Maybe she really has been a bit strange, I guess. I've noticed something like that in the past couple of days. Really, and how did this strange manifest itself? I'm not sure, but she's just usually more self-confident or something. You think we should talk to her? I was going to say you certainly shouldn't, but restraining myself. Okay, forget it. Maybe she's just in that mood. What mood? No mood, that one. Guess it. Aren't you one of our future scientists? I answered abruptly. Electronic left for a moment as if pondering the fate of the world, and then nodded understandingly. Okay, I spread my arms a bit and lowered my head, indicating that if he had no more business with me, that it would be better for him to get back to the building robots and to do so as soon as possible. Of course, he was a bit slow, but this time he understood me on the first try. When Electronic left, I sat back, my back pressed against a tree near the library, in such a way so I couldn't be seen from the windows, and started to think. To be more specific, I tried to think, but there were catastrophically enough facts for a comprehensive analysis of the situation. When the wallpaper in your room changes from white to black, you can't get surprised, scared, assume that they've been recolored without you knowing, get angry at the one who did that. But those are all emotions. In fact, that situation wouldn't be a note on the table saying something like, Dear, I thought it would be better to get ready for eternity beforehand, so I changed the tone of the interior to a more fitting one. And what did I have on my hands at that moment behind me? A huge number of loops. Now the librarian's strange behavior, and ahead uncertainty. Not exactly a solid basis for constructing theories of any kind. Oh, and I was a master of theories, if anything. Though that was all in the past, because at some point I stopped caring completely about why exactly I am destined to spend an eternity in this camp. Fog again. And what if I decided this is all not like me? I don't think that, and probably never did. As if someone put foreign words into my head. Did I stop being myself when I came to an alien world? The grass treacherously wrestled under my feet, giving my presence away. I was sneaking up to the library, trying to find out what was happening inside. Xenia was sitting behind the table, staring straight ahead. Without even a thought flashed through my head. She looked bewildered, doomed. Maybe it was like someone who was told they only have a matter of hours left to live. I wish I could tell her that everything's alright and in 5 days it'll all repeat again and then again. How could this even be alright? It's like telling a sick man that he'll die in 5 days time, but you shouldn't worry because in 7 days after that he'll die again. About 10 minutes have passed, but Xenia never moved. Sometimes it seemed to me that she wasn't even breathing. Now I begin to realize for certainty that this is not just strange. This is it. The thing that threw me into this new world. I had to decide what to start with. I could ask her head on, tell her my story. Oh, here you are. The camp leader was standing behind me. I turned around abruptly and said irritably, "What do you want?" Like always, like I was used to. "What are you diddling here for? I forgot that you need a signature in the library too." The camp leader seemed to not pay attention to my words and tone. Not like usual, but like something long ago. Along with the memories of my first appearance in this camp, came long forgotten memories of the local inhabitants, those I had deemed to be people at the time, not just decorations. It's just, you see, I don't even want to hear it. Get it all signed before dinner. Of course, I was just going to see, then go. Olga followed me to the door with their eyes so I didn't even have to choose what to do next. The camp leader helped. The library smelled like book dust, old Soviet furniture, and a little bit of damp. Sonia was just sitting and paying attention to me, and only seemed to come to her senses when I closed the door. "Hi again," I started hesitantly. I thought I was uncertain. Oh, she's done certain behavior and communication pattern with the camp's inhabitants, and it was hard to change my ways. And this camp leader didn't get me ready either. I wish I had strangled her with her Panama as always. Senor didn't answer, but kept looking at me cautiously. "I came here to get the checklist signed." "Okay, give it here." She answered unemotionally. I started to fumble in my pockets and then realized, no, there's totally something wrong happening with me. I should have gotten used to it everything after all this time, and I'm behaving like a first grader, more specifically like a first sessioner in the terms of this world. "I think I lost it," I said, making an upset face. "That's too bad," she replied in the same dry, uninterested voice. I froze in some kind of superposition. If I turn around and leave now, then what? But at that moment, determination came from who knows where. "Can I ask you a question?" "What question?" "And really what? Don't you think they've been undersalting the food in the canteen lately? The nights have gotten pretty cold, right? Oh, by the way, do you know that I'm an alien from the future?" "Are you alright? Lately it seems you're upset with something." Xenia's face showed a glimpse of interest. "But we don't know each other." "Yeah, sure. It's just that I saw you yesterday and thought I was getting more and more entangled in life's ability to tell the truth, was driving me even further into autism and reducing my vocabulary. Saw you running to the camp yesterday too, but we still don't know each other." "No, we don't, but I told you by Slavia. Yeah, you're roommates with her, right?" "And what did she tell you?" Little by little, Xenia was starting to emerge from her contemplative condition. "Nothing." I let out a helpless sigh and heavily sank into the chair near the door. Outside the window, the many-voiced birds were singing their songs. The crickets were chattering. Some more water was splashing, and from far away was the perky sound of children laughing. But all of it was there, beyond the walls of the library. Instead of here are only the two of us, me and Xenia, or to be more precise, a girl who looks like Xenia. There was no fear, but rather wonder. Let's assume that I'm not me. Who are you then? For a second I even felt insulted that she doesn't know who I am. "Why me? Oh, that one? Yes, just that guy. Pioneers of many worlds have told legends about me. But this specific Xenia in this specific world seem to not give a damn about who I am and what I doing here. And our conversation that seemed to have started to interest her has turned to useless chatter. Well, who do I look like?" Xenia swept her eyes over me. "A pioneer?" "Yeah, sure, a pioneer. That's logical. Nice joke." I grinned strangely. "I wasn't joking. It's just that I look like myself and you don't." "And I don't look like myself?" "You don't look like yourself. God, the final assault has begun." In what sense?" she marveled. "In the sense that you're not the Xenia. No, I mean, you're not the local librarian. Who am I then?" She moved her eyes to the side as if looking for something on the bookshelves. I don't know, that's why I'm asking. If this is another joke? Well, everyone already knows already. She got embarrassed and blushed. No, I don't. With a thumb stuck in my chair, I left to get a book, and while I was looking for it, Elisa Zinnia started at the door floor, tears filling her eyes. No, I haven't heard about anything like that. If you think about it, something like that was happening in the previous times. Let's decide to play a prank. It's just I paid absolutely no attention to it then. Zinnia reacted differently too, I think. Elisa... Get off me, the pioneer girl mumbled while buttoning her shirt, her tongue barely moving. Simon's club was bathed in the bright moonlight. On the table was lying an empty bottle with a tiny lake of vodka spilled around it. My cheeks was burning and my head was spinning so hard I couldn't even understand why exactly, but hardly because of the alcohol alone. If you thought that I'm like that, then you can go to hell. The girl's fingers were listening to her, but the button was lumping back and forth, but refused to go in its prescribed place. Yeah? I lost my temper and grabbed the pioneer by the hand, pressed against the table, and tore her shirt open with my teeth. Like what then? Like what are you then? I'm asking you. It's not a rhetorical question. Answer me. I didn't want to change anything. It all suited me. I was living my accustomed life in my accustomed world, doing what I wanted. Why the hell would I need this novelty? You want this, I know. To go swell the vodka with a stranger 5 minutes after you meet him. Not like that, are you? The hell with all of you. You make everything how it was. I was losing control over myself, the situation, the world itself. Let go, it hurts. The girl was crying. But I was holding her firmly, and in a minute she went limp and closed her eyes, with only an occasional halt and salty tears falling from them. Now, see, that's much better. I was roughly filling her up everywhere, breathing rapidly and loudly at that. Because you are mine, because you are all mine, this whole world is mine. But the girl wasn't resisting, and suddenly I lost interest, even felt disgust. And I don't need you. There are better ones here. Let go and slid the door, and I slid down to the floor, exhausted. The pioneer didn't move, only continued to sob quietly. I can have any girl here, you hear me, and I'll take the meat cleaver, and you don't think that didn't happen before? I was shouting. You think you can tell me what to do? This is my world, you hear me? Mine. Y'all don't even exist. I'm talking to myself. Stop whining. I lost the last bit of controls over myself, jumped up, and leaned all my weight on the girl. She seemed to be close to fainting already. I bent forward and whispered into her ear. You know what I've been doing with you so many times. Want to listen? Oh no, listen now and I'll tell you. Suddenly I panicked. It had been an infinitely long time since the very beginning, but every second of it has been living. I was aware of myself as a person. Was controlling the situation in this world and many before. And for the first time I got a feeling that I'm disappearing, that in a moment's time I'll be gone. And how can that be? It's me. Don't you see? Don't you remember? You're a weakling, the girl whispered, reached me as if from another world. Pathetic weakling and nobody. I would feel pity, but you can't pity an empty place. I jumped back from her in terror. On the pioneer's face was a frozen grimace of disgust. The tears disappearing as if they had never been there. She got from the table, took a couple steps forward towards me, and stopped. Oh, that's creepy. Why are you telling me all this? Zinnia asked lazily, turning a page over. Ripples were running across the water above us, swaying above us were the swaying leaves of a birch, with bright beams of tiring midday sun shining through them. The birds were singing loudly in the grove, and the small bugs hiding in the grass were busily jumping on my legs. Well, why are you reading that book? Don't tell me that's the first time. I like to. See, you like to narrate, and I like to read. On the other shore, on the beach, pioneers were frolicking. Olga was running after Ilana, and in the middle of the river I distinguished Flavia's gold-colored head. Could she be swimming here? So what? What? What happened next? I thought you weren't interested. You are, though. Zinnia smiled. She spat in my face and walked outside, shutting the door loudly after herself. I was left standing there. What is this? It, the end? At some point I was waiting for it, maybe even with impatience. But it was so long ago that I don't even remember. And what now? These dolls, these soulless dolls, destroyed my world that I've been bullying my whole life. Just like that, in one day's time. I ran my hand over my cheek and saw my fingers covered with something wet. The night had long descended upon the camp, hiding local pioneers, hiding under its covers, hiding behind their malice and willingness. And I was just sitting in the cybernetics club, my arms folded around my knees, slowly rocking from side to side. Maybe that pioneer girl will come back now. After all, she could humiliate me with such more strongly, or even do something worse. But the time was passing by, and it was only the singing of the night birds and chirping of the crickets getting quieter. The dawn is near too. The camp will wake up then and start living its life that suddenly had become so unfamiliar to me. But whatever the hell with it, I got to my feet with some difficulty and looked at the empty bottle of vodka lying on the table. It would be nice to pass out now, wake up tomorrow as if nothing happened. Forget about today, appear in a world I'm used to, where the pioneer's behavior is familiar and predictable. It all started with that little girl. She never cried before. Or maybe she did, and I just never paid attention. And if that's true, so what? What? Becoming a weakling. Feel sorry for that little shit. Go down their level even. No, I had to pull myself together. I left the cybernetics club, slamming the door loudly, and breathed in the fresh night air. Strange, it didn't feel as artificial as usual. So where should I go? I guess catching up that pioneer girl and getting revenge for the spit in the face would be worth it. Oh, I've never forgiven such an insult before, and I won't forgive it now. There wasn't a single living soul in the square except for the pioneer sitting on a bench. I paid no attention to him at first. Who knows how many retards stroll here, but he called out to me. Hey, Semyon. Who the hell are you calling Semyon, damn you? I hissed under my breath, but the pioneer wasn't calming down. You must be looking for someone, but she didn't go that way. I froze in place, but immediately turned around and quickly walked up to him. So you saw her? Of course I did. A disgusting smile appeared on his face, a grin even, a savage one, especially only wants superiority over their opponent. Spell out then, we're not playing a guessing game here. Wait, what are you in such a rush for? Sit down, let's talk calmly for a start. I have nothing to talk to you about. The pioneer thought for a moment, then rummaged in the pockets of his shorts and took out a pack of Cosmos and held it out to me. Want some? This. Where did you get it? I don't remember regular pioneers selling cigarettes, although so much has happened in the past 24 hours that this has never happened before. I slowly drew out one cigarette and gave the pack back to the strange pioneer. He turned it around in his hands for a while and then tossed back to me. Nah, I'll take it. I quit. In that filthy smile again. To hell with it, though. I need to catch that insolent bitch. So, tell me when she went. Why do you need that poor girl? She is insignificantly small on the scale of the universe, and maybe doesn't even exist in this one. He thought for a moment, then continued. Same goes for you. Are you sure you exist? And even if so, that your existence here and now is the real one. Maybe you really existed before, and now you don't. Or you will exist in the future, and at that moment, it's just a doll standing before me. The word doll fired painfully in my head, as if a 45 caliber Colt blew my brains out, spouting the contents of the brain pan over the area. Yeah, and it's Slavia's turn to clean tomorrow. I involuntarily smirked aside. Who are you? Then some girl that spat in my face had long flung out of my head together with my brain. Who are you? I'm asking you. I grabbed him by the neckerchief and jerked him towards me with such strength that the damn red rag groaned and almost tore. The pioneer only smiled. Calm down. Don't worry that much. It's impossible to die here. You should know. You've done that hundreds of times. I jumped back from him in terror. This phrase, I've certainly heard it before. No, not that. I've been saying it myself. A long time ago in my previous life, because you are Semyon and I'm Semyon, because you are me. The bench and the pioneer abruptly zoomed 100 meters away from me, as if falling from a roller coaster, only his disgust grin remaining before my eyes. And then the world was covered in darkness. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the video here. I'll finish this up in the next video. So thanks guys for watching it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.